Hello YouTube friends, I'm Matteo and I welcome you here in my little hobby room in my garage. In this video I will show you something very special. In this year, in 2014, Tamiya celebrates 40 years of RC cars. And also for myself, this year is a little bit special. Exactly 30 years ago, I bought my first RC car. It was in 1984 and it was the Frog from Tamiya. It was a completely different time than back in the 80s. No digital cameras, no smartphones, no internet, no computers, and it was impossible to make movies of our cars. But it took not so long time and me and my friend, we made some photos of our cars. We used the old conventional compact camera with small film rolls inside. Maybe you remember at this time. With these photos we created then an album. And now I will show you some pictures of it and explain something about these photos in this album. Please sorry about the pictures quality. It's not nearly the same as today. But remember, these photos are nearly 30 years old. Unfortunately, I have no pictures of my first car, the Frog from 1984. A half year later, in spring 1985, I got the Wild Willy. This was a really fun car, and the chassis was completely different than the re-release one from the last years. 1 year later, in 1986, Tamiya released the Porsche 959. I couldn't resist and sold my Wild Willy to a friend. With this extra money it was possible to buy the Porsche 959. The awesome thing on this Porsche was the headlights. And in the kit was the Tamiya Technigold motor included. With this motor, this car was pretty fast. In this year my friend bought the Falcon. We had a lot of fun with our RC cars at this time. And as you can see, with water was already great to play. Here are some images of our first radios, my friend's multiplex and my Accoms. And you can see my equipment in 1986, the charger, battery and the car. The battery had 1200 mAh capacity. This in combination with a brushhead motor and a mechanical speed controller gave run times about 5 to 8 minutes. 20 years before the first GoPro arrives, we took some onboard footage. We got the camera on the chassis and used the self-timer to shot these pictures from the running vehicle. This is my small garage in 1987, and as you can see it arrived a new car. It was the Monster Beetle from Tamiya, and in the summer holidays 1987 we had a lot of fun with this. This was our service center in the mountains, as you can see with the new fast charger. With this it was possible to charge a battery in a half an hour, and a few more batteries. Here you can see my first pistol transmitter, with a steering wheel. If I remember right, it was from Futaba. Nearly at the end of 1987, I've bought again a new RC car. Do you know which one it was? Yes, it was the Bigwig, with a Technigold motor. It was possible to run it with 8.4 volts instead of the standard 7.2 volts. Tamiya offers a special 7-cell nickel-cadmium battery for the Bigwig. But I keep it with this. I had some serious problems with overheating the mechanical speed controller, so I switched back to the standard 7.2 volts. This was my garage in winter 87-88. In this winter I took the Monster Beetle into the mountains for the winter holidays. And to get more traction on ice and snow, I built some snow chains for it. It was very effectful because the Beetle had only rear-wheel drive. In spring 1988 my friend bought the Toyota Celica. It had the same chassis as my Porsche 959. Sometimes we played around, some accidents happened, and we had to go back and repair our cars. In spring 1988, my garage grew with the Clod. This was my RC collection in spring 1988. In the summer of the same year it came another addition, the Tamiya Williams Formula 1 racer. Nigel Mansell drove this car in the Formula 1 season 1987. A bit later, the next car drove into my garage, the Avante. It had a very futuristic look for this time. I got it together with a new radio from Tamiya. There included was my first electronic speed controller. It came in one unit together with the receiver. This was Matteo's garage in late 1988. Here you can see one more Clodbuster. It was not mine. I built it for a friend and painted it in Blackfoot scheme. In fall 1988 we went to Italy for a holiday. Of course my RCs have to came with me. In Sardinia the sea was very beautiful. In winter 1988 I've built a special body for my Clodbuster. When I see this today, it looks very strange for me. but I think it reflects very good the shiny and glimmer time of the 80s. Now, these are the last photos of this album. It's in February 1989 and it shows the Clod pasture in the mountains. After this, in the beginning of the 90s, I started with some other activities. Snowboarding was growing in this time, and I had a great part of it. A few years later I founded a family, but in the last years I came back in the Tamiya RC hobby, especially with the re-releases of the classic Tamiyas. So, I hope you enjoyed this journey to my history of Tamiya RC cars, and I thank you for watching this.